Welcome back. Continuing our focus on the End SARS protest, End SWAT, and all of the hashtags associated with this one will also come to play. Well, today we've got Mr. Chinedu Enujego, who is the immediate past president of the National Youth Council of Nigeria. Good morning. Thank you for joining us today.
Good morning, and thank you for having me.
All right. We also have in Abuja studios Mike Ejiofor, who is a former director with the SSS. Good morning, and thank you for joining us as well today. So,
good morning, and thank you for having me.
all right, let's start with you. Yes, we've seen different responses from the government about this protest in terms of the demands, what they met, how they intend to proceed moving forward. So how would you situate all of this scenario in light of what the people want?
First and foremost, I will tell you that the reason for all this is when you have success and you don't have a successor, collapse is inevitable. So Nigerians are reacting, and there's actually nobody to address. It's a street gang matter that we're having now, because the National Youth Council of Nigeria, which is the apex body of all the youth organizations in Nigeria, has been destabilized. They have 4 presidents currently. They have a court injunction from Taiwo as at July, restraining anybody from parading themselves as president of the Youth Council. So there is actually no formal body that is propelling this protest. It's a street.
Even if the Youth Council were not dissolved, have they ever been leaders of this kind of protest?
I led a protest to the Nigerian military headquarters about 2 years ago, protesting in the street of Abuja.
Regarding what?
Regarding the Boko Haram handling.
So have you ever led a protest for police brutality?
Actually, we haven't led a protest.
So this is a different type of protest?
Yes.
So the Youth Council will just be one of the bodies that
no,
will be associated
you see,
with this
all the youths in Nigeria are under the Youth Council.
By force?
No, it was in 1964 when the Youth Council was promulgated into law as the mouthpiece of all the youth organizations in Nigeria.
Yeah, but you know that there are people who don't even know about the youths, who don't know and care about the Youth Council. They want what they want. They can form their own groups and go ahead. And that's what they want.
You see, there is this understanding within the youth organizations in Nigeria. When you form your own youth association, maybe Christian-based youth, for instance, you must affiliate that organization with the Youth Council. If not, it will not stand.
Well, the country's laws says that people have freedom of association. They cannot be compelled to be associated with any other group. So anyway, that's a different kettle of fish. The law, nothing stops them from setting up their own group and associating with whoever they want.
Perhaps
it can't be by compulsion.
Yeah, but perhaps the issue my colleague is raising is that the National Youth Council hasn't been as effective a body to speak for the youth over time. Consequently, legitimacy with the youth groups or even youth as individuals is not there.
And that is why I told you that when the ruling class, when the leadership of our country has failed to mentor the youth organizations that is responsible for organizing all the youth body in the country, it becomes difficult to actually identify and address issues like this and SARS.
All right, let's begin the same conversation with Mr. Mike Ejiofor. Well, you have heard all that's been happening, and you have seen all of the conversation of the federal government, the Governors Forum, the National Economic Council, everyone putting in their base to help resolve this issue. Given all of that, and that the fact that the protests are ongoing, what's your take?
Well, I must, first of all, appreciate and commend the Nigerian youths. I will equally appreciate the Nigerian police, the government and people of Nigeria, and some governors who have taken the initiative to douse tension. You see, in a situation like this, it's difficult to deal with because there is no known leadership of the organized protests. Like my friend there was talking about, if we had known leadership, then you can say, let us negotiate. But this is spontaneous action by the youths. Don't also forget that youth constitute 65% of the population of this country. How I wish the youths come out to vote the way they are reacting now. And maybe it would have been a different ballgame. But the issue is that our politicians use the youths to actualize their dreams, and at the end of it, they abandon them. And that's what has given rise to what the situation we have now. And I want to actually appeal to our youths to exercise restraint, give government the opportunity. Like if you see, the government has been reacting proactively and at times in an uncoordinated manner. The northern governors will come and tell you, we want SARS, that has been disbanded by the Nigerian police on the orders of the federal government. Some governors are even leading the protest, to garner support for the youth so that they don't go out of hand. On the other hand, you have some miscreants who are going about attacking these protesters. And you see, this kind of fluid situation, it becomes a very big challenge. And I think the way the government is reacting so far, they must be commended, the youth must be commended, because even when they are attacked, they also go ahead to get the people arrested and hand over to the police. We expect, too, that the police should be diligent in the handling of such suspects to know, especially like the situation in Abuja, what happened in Abuja 2 days ago, where some people started smashing vehicles. And so if we don't control this, we'll have a big challenge in our hand. For now, I think the government should look into the demands being made by the youths. And this thing cannot be handled without giving the chance, like the auditing of the suspect. Nobody is suggesting that you go and open the cells and release everybody. There are some people who are criminally liable. They should be sorted out, and the ones that have genuine case released. And that's one of the issues, some of the issues they are raising. Government should look into the issues, but I believe too, since this is spontaneous and there's no known leadership, some of the leaders too that even on their own operating on the ground should be courageous enough to lead these people aright so that we don't have a major crisis in our hands.
When you say you appeal to government and appeal to the youth to just give government a chance, many want to see transparency on the part of government from start to finish. But now there are certain actions which could be interpreted as though there seems to be some doublespeak here. We've seen the ban in the FCT for gatherings. They're citing COVID-19 protocols. But they've also just lifted the ban on contact sports. And we also saw how the rallies in Ondo and Edo went on in the thick of COVID-19. And so many just wonder. And then now that NYC, they're supposed to go back soon, ASU, do you think that they will misinterpret all those moves as attempts to try and deplete the ranks of the youth such that, they can break up eventually?
Now, I don't think I will even advise government to break the ranks of the youths. But the fact remains that the actions are very uncoordinated. The FCT security coming to say you should not demonstrate. These people have been peaceful. They have not been violent. So I don't see why they should ban this when we know, in the real sense of it, You cannot stop people from protesting as long as they are peaceful. All I expect the police to do is to follow them, monitor them, and ensure that they are peaceful. If like the FCT has said, they shouldn't come. I tell you, they're going to dare the police, they will come out, and there will be confrontation. So I want to use this opportunity to appeal to the police to continue exactly the way they have been doing in handling this protest. You know, even in Lagos, I see one police officer who joins them because the people are actually not fighting, the youths are not actually fighting for themselves. They are even fighting for the police. We are talking of police welfare, we are talking of police training. What has been, it's well agreed and well noted in this country that police is ill-equipped, underfunded. Let us not be sounding like broken records. Every day anybody comes to say the same thing, that the police is ill-equipped. What is happening to the police trust fund that the act was enacted last year? Why is it moribund? Why is it not being handled? Government alone cannot fund security. So if you send somebody to go and do a job for you without equipping him, there's no way that person can succeed in doing the job. So we have the issue of welfare, we have the issue of training, which all the youths too are still maintaining that police must be reformed, police must be, welfare of the police must be improved. So it boils down to the issue of maybe policing in Nigeria. Like I've always said, policing in Nigeria is too centralized.
Okay, we'll come to that part in a moment. Just pardon me, Mr. Nijiko, have you ever experienced this action against by SARS, as the youths are talking about, personally?
Of course, I have. On 2 occasions, I have been stopped and then asked to come, that I must park. The guy said, you must park here.
Regular policemen?
No, SARS. They are federal SARS. And then I looked at where we are. It was not a conducive place to argue. So I quietly parked the way he was.
Were you extorted?
No, because...
This was just regular checks? So not the extortion part of it?
Actually, I tried to lecture the police, the SARS guy, what to do. You have just stopped me. Asking me to come down shouldn't be the first thing. The first thing is ask me, who are you? I will identify myself. Then you will know if you have to go on with your work or you will allow me to go.
How did you receive that lecture?
He said, are you teaching me my job? I said, of course, I'm teaching you your job because I'm in position to teach you your job. And he said, okay, park here. So I parked. Then another one of the inspector now walked and said, you are teaching us our job. I said, of course. I'm teaching you your job because I'm the #1 youth of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. I know your job and I know what you should do. He said, can I see your ID card as a youth council leader? I showed to them. And they said, okay, go. That's one. The second time was that my brother was arrested by SARS people. And that's about 4 days ago. About 4 days ago, and they were demanding for 400,000.
For what?
For nothing.
Sorry, did you say SARS?
SARS, 4 days ago.
But they have been disbanded
A day after they are banned, or 2 days after they were banned, they stopped my own cousin. And they took him and locked him up in the police station by the Express in our Delta State, Asaba. I just came into town yesterday.
So what's the situation
I went
now?
There. I went there. And after much trouble, I told them that I'm going to lead a process to this police station if you don't let him go. So that was, then they now released him.
So was the Commissioner of Police aware of this?
I didn't go to the extent of informing. I just went to the OC anti-court because they took the guy to his station. And I said, if you don't release this guy, I'm going to lead a protest to your station right away.
So this kind of experiences, if that happened the day after they were banned, yes. Isn't it what these protesters have been talking about, saying, look,
the protesters
this is just so much.
Correct. SARS is still working in Nigeria. SARS is still arresting people.
No, that was then. Are you talking about now?
If someone was arrested day before yesterday, a cousin of mine.
So does
so
that
why would I
suggest
believe
then,
that as at this morning that somebody else is not arrested?
So is that to say that the changing to SWAT doesn't mean anything?
No, our position at the Youth Council, which by the grace of God, maybe at the end of today, there will be a press briefing from the angle of the Youth Council. Our position is the IG, we thank him for saying he has banned SARS. But this SWAT thing is too quick. Therefore, it's unacceptable. Number two, if...
Sorry, before you go off of that one, it's a little interesting. So on the one hand, we wanted SARS banned, and we want action. And we want action as quickly as possible. Now, SARS is disbanded. The police says, okay, let's form SWAT. And now you're saying it's too quick.
Yeah. Let me tell you what I mean.
But you didn't give, there was no timeline by the protesters to the government.
That is why I said when you are addressing a street gang, it is difficult to lay hold on someone to negotiate with or someone to truly give you their blueprint, their real demand. So right now, we are of the opinion that, okay, the IG should first and foremost, remember these people are policemen before they became SARS. They were police, they were not employed as SARS. They were employed as Nigerian police officers. Now, you have disbanded SARS and sent them back to the station, for instance. They still have their gun. They are still the same human being with the same mentality. We are not asking for their sack. We've not taken their guns from them. Now that you've sent them back to the police station, what are they doing at the police station? What are they using? The same gun they are using? Have they shaved their beards? Have they worn Nigerian police uniform? That is one. So two, we are looking at what we expected, or my personal opinion. What I expected is this. The IG should have recalled these police officers, the SARS guys, send them to a compulsory orientation course, and tell Nigerians, have withdrawn these people from the street and from the station, and we are sending them to maybe a 6 months orientation or 1 year, so that the protesters on the street, we know that the bad guys are not on the street again.
We'll just come back and wrap this up because it's a tight package this morning. So just give us a moment. We'll be back. Well, Mr. Jofo, as we wind down now, from the look of things and having seen the responses across board, where do you see this headed?
Lost the sound there.
I'm just asking, having seen the way things are playing out, do you really think that the authorities will meet all the demands that the protesters are asking for?
Not possible because, you see, when they make one demand, end SARS, SARS has been disbanded, end police brutality. Nigeria as it is now, there's no way you end police brutality. It will continue. Like the man in the studio there talk about SARS people arrested people 2 days ago, which I very much doubt, because the police are directed that all the SARS people should report back to the headquarters. So I don't know whether they are ordinary policemen, other Nigeria police officers, or SARS still operating. I very much doubt that. Now,
on that one, very quickly, Mr. Jofo, just one moment on that one. Just one moment, Mr. Jofo. On that one, whether or not, it's the SARS people or it's the regular police, some might also want to ask you, how long does it take for such information to percolate down the ranks? We have 36 states in the country, and when an order is given, how quickly does it really dissipate? Because this allegation, so to speak, is not new. It's not the first time. So how long does it take, really?
It doesn't take any time. With the social media and the communication, any order given by the IG now gets to the Commissioner of Police, gets to everybody, and is complied with. So if the man was sure that these are SARS people, he should have gone to the Commissioner of Police to report, so that action will be taken. See, why should SARS still be operating under another Commissioner of Police when the IG had directed that SARS is disbanded? Now, coming back to the other issue you asked of, if the demands might be endless, Because there's a proverb in Yoruba that a juju that is looking for blood, even if you give it all, it will not take. Much as we appreciate the youths for their efforts, there should be some exercise of restraint. Articulate your demands, get them together, and present it to government so that they will be handled. The NEC has issued a statement asking all the governors to audit the data, even get funds to compensate people who have lost their lives or people who lost their property in the process. So all these are healing processes, and I feel I'm talking as a statesman, as a Nigerian, a patriotic Nigerian. I'm also speaking on one part that have been involved in these operations for a very long time during my service. So either way people look at it. People might say
there was no restraint on the part of SARS when meting out some of these things to them. But Mr. Jofo, as we wind down, just a minute, as we wind down, because I mean, it's been suggested in different quarters that, look, in order to ensure that this really goes right deep and then to the basis, you know, to the core essence of this whole thing is, should there also be a way to identify, look, who are all these people in the rank and file, SARS officials? Should there be an auditing of their accounts? Should they check to actually fish out who are those that have been carrying out these kind of actions over the years to be sure none escapes the radar and gets back into the force without having, I mean, as part of debriefing? Shouldn't that be part of the processes that should be carried out?
Exactly. It's part of it. People who have been offended, whose rights have been freed or upon,
some of these SARS officials,
grievances and sent.
No, I'm talking about the account of some of these SARS officials. Should we check out some of these things and find out who's been doing what? Let's monitor these transactions. Are they conniving with officials of agencies? How do they get POSs? Who do they remit funds to? And those part of the thing that should be investigated.
That is what police has come up with, that the activities will be investigated. And we cannot, under this fluid situation, without giving the police chance, without giving government chance to look into all these matters. So committees at the state level that has been directed by the vice president or the presidency to be set up should look into all this. So people whose rights have been should compile their grievances and send to the government or the commissioner of police for them to enable them look at. I see one SARS who have been reading in one CSP in Anambra. The governor has already removed him from his appointment. So all those ones, if there's no way you can handle a problem or we come up with a solution when a complaint has not been made. So the complaint must be formally made before it's looked into.
Right then, Mr. Michael Jofo, we do thank you for your thoughts this morning. Well, let's also get yours. First, he did wonder, the processes that you took makes him doubt whether or not that was a real SARS official.
Well, in Nigeria, sometimes we are diplomatic, especially when we are on air. We know how difficult it is to get to the Commissioner of Police. We know the processes if you want to go and report a policeman to the police authority. We know the difficulties. And sometimes we are really, as individuals, not ready to go through those difficult processes to go and possibly institute a matter you may not have all the time to follow up.
What part of it is difficult?
That is what I said, that seeing the commissioner to lodging your complaint directly to him might not be very easy.
But
to everybody.
Did you walk in, you were at the police station?
Yes.
Did you request to see the commissioner of police?
No, that wasn't the CP's, that wasn't the state command where the young man was.
But the police say they usually put up their emergency contact numbers and then police complaint lines that you can complain to. Now, it's important because if they put up those numbers and we don't try them and tell them that these numbers you put up don't work, how do we challenge them saying, look, your numbers are not working if we don't try them?
Anyway, I think we've gone past that now. We have a situation at hand. And my thoughts now is, what is the way forward? How do we end this protest? What should the IG do? I think that is where we are now.
How do we end the protest, and how do you address the concerns that they have?
So I think that is where we are. And in my own opinion, the IG should, because these protesters is a street gang style, is not a coordinated youth body action. It's a spontaneous thing. So what I was expecting is for the IG to liaise with the Honorable Minister for Youth and Sports Development to reach the youth leaders in the 774 local government, because the council has structure in the everybody in the street has a brother. You have a friend. You belong to one place. So through this leadership, I think we can now enter into this crisis and remodel it. That is the only way it can stop.
All right, Mr. Njoka, we do thank you for your thoughts as well today on the program. So we will be back in a moment. Join us again.